Tonight at around 10 o'clock, the world will find out who has been voted the next British Conservative Party leader and, ipso facto, the UK Prime Minister. The smart money is on Boris Johnson, and if that happens, we're guaranteed quite the spectacle. He's a controversial figure. In fact, just yesterday, the British Chancellor Philip Hammond said he'd quit if Mr Johnson became Prime Minister. I'm joined now by Otago University's Robert Patman out of Dunedin. Good morning.
Good morning, Hayley.
So what would you think of a Boris Johnson-led UK?
Well, I think it could be colourful and brief. Mr Johnson is facing some really difficult problems, and what he's promised, while it appeals to 0.3% of the population, that's the 160,000 largely white males that are electing him as leader of the country, what they want and what the rest of the country wants is quite different. And what Mr Johnson's going to find out is the two key promises he's made, that he's going to renegotiate the deal or he's going to take Britain out of the EU without a deal. He can't deliver on. So he's going to have to improvise and probably come up with some new initiatives rather quickly.
He hasn't really shied away from saying one thing and then doing another, though, in the past, has he?
No, and therefore he's a real political maverick. I mean, his central motivation in politics is power. When he ran for London Mayor, he was cosmopolitan and outgoing and pro-immigration. When he decided to become leader or bid for the leadership of the Tory party, he embraced Brexit. He saw that as a vehicle to becoming leader. So he's quite unpredictable in that sense.
The New York Times led with a headline, I think it was this morning, saying Boris Johnson is how Britain ends. What do you say to that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Brexit is going to happen. I think that Mr Johnson's going to make another stab at it, and he's going to find out that amongst the Brexiteers, the problem was that Mrs May was not a true believer. When Mr Johnson says he is a true believer, we're going to find out it takes more than acts of faith and belief in the inherent superiority of Britain to achieve the sort of deal he wants with 27 other liberal democracies that make up the EU. So I think he could face parliamentary stalemate quite quickly. He has hinted that he will suspend Parliament in order to force through a no-deal solution. But Parliament will not allow that. So it seems to me that he's going to face deadlock quite quickly. And as you indicated in your opening remarks, he's losing Philip Hammond almost immediately from his government, a very senior figure. Another 9 or 8 ministers may also resign as well. So he's going to have a very pro-Brexit administration. He faces really tough problems, and I don't see he's indicated anything so far how to solve them credibly.
How do you think the response to him will be at the European Union? He has been a journalist in the past, reporting on the European Union, and he was a bit of a renegade then, wasn't he? Yes,
well, he discovered the knack of basically exaggerating things, and it was a bit of self-promotion in his journalism. Remember, he was fired when he was at the Times for making up a quote. So he's always been slightly economical with the truth. He's always had this problem of veracity, but it served him well in politics so far. And but he's going to, this is the moment where the rubber hits the road. There's only so much bluffing and persuasive rhetoric you can use. He's now got to deliver in substantial terms. I think what we will see for him, he's an ally of Mr Trump and Steve Bannon. So I think he'll be looking to deepen the relationship with the United States. For his opponents, I suspect many Britons, they will worry that under Mr Johnson, Britain will become something of a lackey of the Trump administration. So this is risky for him. He's sufficiently sophisticated to realise that. So I think we could be in for some surprises with Mr Johnson.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Robert Patman from Otago University.